really kicks off. Brace yourself. It's going to be a wild ride, as we've all been saying. Everyone's been saying it's going to be a wild ride. The stage has been set by the left, primarily from the left, for all of the disruption and the election fraud and the usurping of power from Trump and how Biden's going to win and everything. And now they're election interference. They've been pushing on that one. And we're going to cover that on today's topic. Today's topic is going to be on election interference and what Bloomberg says Putin wants, and how how Russia is interfering in the election. Again, it's always Russia, Russia, Russia. But then we're going to flip it over and see, well, what did Putin, if Putin had his druthers, rather, who would he rather to see in office, right? And we'll take a look at those two, comparing we'll compare those two ideas. Before we do, please go to sjgperspective.com and subscribe. There you can find everything from merchandise to where to follow me, everything. Just subscribe to sjgperspective.com. All right, let's jump into this article right here, right now. It's good times. So this article comes out of Bloomberg, and it just says U.S. officials warn close vote will fuel Russian disinformation, which is even if it's an utter blowout by Donald Trump, if he utterly smacks the living crap out of Biden, there's still going to be a whole bunch of unrest and talk, right? But a close one, we're not going to know for months. We're not going to probably know until January, late December or January, really what's going on. But in this article, I just want to pick out a snippet here where it says, in 2016, it's talking about how there's going to be Russian disinformation, and bling, bling, blang, bloom, blop. But you've heard all that before. It says, since 2016, other foreign powers have picked up on Russian tactics. U.S. intelligence is also warning that Iran and China are working to sway voters to advance their geopolitical goals. National Counterintelligence and Security Center Director William Evenia said in a July statement that Russia prefers Trump, while China and Iran prefer Biden. But he said here, again, Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia prefers Trump. Well, it doesn't exactly jive with this article. And you can get this article over if you Google this. Putin says he wants to work with Biden, claims shared values between Democrats and socialism or communism. Now, granted, Putin knows how to play both sides of the field on this one. And I really honestly don't think he cares who's in office and who's not. Trump is not Putin's puppet. And if you still think that, you need to wake up. And Russia is not the big, bad, evil empire that is swaying our elections. You want to know who's really interfering in our elections? It's our own media. It's our own government. They're the ones who are interfering in the election. It's our celebrities. It's social media, right? And the mainstream media. They're the ones that are interfering and don't want you to have the truth. But I find it interesting that media, people on the left are saying it's Russia. They're interfering, man. They want Trump to win. Trump's their guy. Well, let's read what Putin himself said. Now, Putin could be playing both sides of the fence on this one and stirring it up either way, right? But I get that. But by saying, hey, Democrats are close to social or close to communism, knowing what that's going to do to trigger people on the right, and then also he pisses off so people can say, see what the Democrats, to cause more division here. Democrats are communists, which they basically are, most of them. And then the Democrats can say, he can also twofold then say, piss on the Democrats by saying their narrative that that Putin wants Trump. He can piss on that narrative and make it look like he'd prefer them. So I can see his disinformation in this, but let's just take it at face value, since that's what we're all trying to do here, and we're just trying to look at this and these news. Let's look at it at face value. Well, Putin says this: the Democratic Party is traditionally closer to the so-called liberal values, closer to social democratic ideas, Putin said, and it was from the social democratic environment that the Communist Party evolved. After all, I was a member of the Communist Soviet Party for nearly 20 years, Putin added. I was a rank-and-file member, but it can be said that I believed in the party's ideas. I still like many of those left-wing values. Equality and fraternity, what is bad about them? In fact, they are akin to Christian values. Yes, they are difficult to implement, but they are very attractive nevertheless. In other words, this can be seen as an ideological basis for developing contacts with the Democratic representatives. Essentially, basically, what he's saying with that is, hey, you know what? I could work pretty well. I could work pretty well with Biden. In fact, I prefer probably to work with Biden because his Democrat leaning progressive values are pretty close to communism, and I like communism. See what he's doing there? He's playing and he's like trying uh, um, to give the right fodder and ammunition to cause even more division within our own country. So yeah, in that way he is kind of interfering. And he's also pissing on all the Democrats who are saying that Putin wants Trump, right? So he's like, no, I think I'd prefer the Democrats actually. So it's pretty interesting and pretty funny. But again, it just goes to show you the complete level of manipulation and disinformation in this upcoming, quite frankly, selection. I hate to say it like that, but that's what I'm starting to think. This is more all WWE, man. It's all WWE, and we get all mad at one another, and we get our pitchforks, and we get swinging at one another to the left and the right. Now, everyone knows I'm conservative. I have conservative values. I have conservative beliefs. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the smaller government. I believe in freedom and liberty. I believe in all those things. But I don't really think our leaders that we're bowing down to necessarily truly really do. I think that it's all about control, and I think the elites are running this show right now. And I don't know exactly how we change that except to wake up to the fact that some of this is more of a selection and less of an election. So, having said that, I hope Trump wins, and I hope he wins by a landslide just so we don't have to deal with the fallout quite as bad. And then the left really gets exposed for how ridiculous they are, and how, quite frankly, just off the deep end they are. I hope he wins in a shellacking. Anything short of that, buckle up. It's going to be a while, and our country's going to go through some serious, wild, crazy times. All right, that's it for this episode or this video. Please subscribe to sjgperspective.com. Go there, SJG Perspective. You can buy merch. You can see my show notes. You can see my calendar. You can see everything. Everything's there. sjgperspective.com. Without fear or animus, it's SJG, and we will talk to you real soon. Have a good night, and get ready. Here it comes. See you later. Bye.